Hello, welcome to the podcast, Human Rights in America, a Revolutionary Mindset. I am your host, Sue Young. Today, I'm going to try something new, a memory game. Let's play a game. I'll ask some questions about highlights from the last 2 episodes. And yes, there will be bonus and extra credit questions along the way. And I will also fill in details about information about the episodes that I didn't share in the prior episodes. So thanks to my brother Daryl for this creative idea. So are you ready? Well, strap on your seatbelts and let's begin with episode 25, DEI and Human Rights Part 2. So the first question is, what do the letters DEI stand for? It's been all over the news. So the answer is DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I started that episode off with a quote from Andres Tapia. He says, "Our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and the test of our civilization, because diversity is the mix, and inclusion is making the mix work." Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the collective thought, recognizing and valuing differences among people, including people from a variety of backgrounds, including race, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, and more. DEI is a collection of backgrounds. It's not just race, and it's not just gender, because a person can be so much more than their race or gender. Equity means ensuring that everyone has fair access to opportunities and resources. It also aids in identifying and removing the barriers that prevent some groups from participating fully. Inclusion is the commitment to allocate resources to groups that have been historically disadvantaged. It involves creating a culture where everyone feels welcomed and respected, ensuring that everyone's voice is heard and they feel a sense of belonging. That doesn't sound so bad, does it? Did you remember that? All right, question number 2. Here you go. For those who may have not gotten that one. How does DEI and human rights intersect? This podcast is all about human rights. The answer is DEI is imperative to human rights because it actively works to ensure everyone, regardless of their background or identity, has equal access to opportunities and are treated with respect, a fundamental principle of human rights. DEI done right promotes and results in diverse perspectives and actively addresses systemic inequalities. DEI and human rights help to dismantle past discrimination and create a society where everyone can fully realize their potential. So why are corporations walking away from DEI? We still have the pay gap between men and women. Women and marginalized groups are still underrepresented as leaders in our businesses. So what gives? I don't know. Let's go to question number 3. Name at least 3 corporations who have publicly announced their decision to pull out of DEI. Just a hint, these are places that you may frequent. Some of the answers: Target, McDonald's, FBI, Walmart, to name just a few. Extra credit if anyone can explain how merit-based hirings will improve our corporations walking away from diverse perspectives, inclusion, and fairness. How will that improve our corporations? It's as if the corporations are saying that everyone who's not white and male have been, less qualified in a DEI pick? Question number 4. According to the recent Labor Department survey, what group was a major benefactor of DEI? The number one benefactor of DEI? White women. But if you listen to the rhetoric, you'd assume it was Black people, right? Be honest. Here's a bonus question. What group of people were the least to benefit from DEI? Drum roll. Here it is. Blacks. We came in at number 8, behind Asians, Hispanic people, Native Americans, people with disabilities, veterans, and members of the LGBTQ community. So, many countries have laws against discrimination, which is one of the human rights, one of the pillars of the Declaration of Human Rights. And DEI is an effective means to achieving this end. Do you think that with our history of discrimination against everyone, not white and not male, do you believe that meritocracy is the answer? I looked up the word meritocracy and I saw the paradox or contradiction to meritocracy. It said the paradox is people may be more biased in favor of their own group when working in an organization that emphasizes meritocracy. So let's share this bit of news. According to a Guardian article dated 3/7/2025, the U.S. military's first are among the 26,000 images flagged for deletion in the Trump DEI purge. According to the Guardian article, reference to a Second World War Medal of Honor recipient, the Enola Gay aircraft that dropped an atomic bomb on Japan, and the first woman to pass the U.S. Marine Infantry training are among the thousands of photos and online posts marked for deletions at the Pentagon. The database, which was confirmed by the U.S. officials and published by the Associated Press, includes more than 26,000 images that have been flagged for removal across every military branch. The eventual total could be much higher. This is all in response to the Trump administration directive turning against DEI. The vast majority of Pentagon purge targets women and minorities, including notable milestones made in the military. And it also removes the large number of posts that mention various commemorative months, such as those for Black and Hispanic people and women. So no mention of Black History, Hispanic History Month, or Women's Month in March. In addition, some photos of the Tuskegee Airmen, the nation's first Black military pilots who served in a segregated Second World War unit, were listed on the database to be purged, but those pictures may likely be protected due to the historical content. Well, isn't it interesting that the Tuskegee Airmen who served in a segregated unit would be considered to be purged for DEI references when their very presence screams injustice and blows a hard hit to the merit-based chant out in the world? Back to the memory game. So how are you doing so far? If you find yourself wanting, then go back to the episodes and listen to it again. I know the episodes are pretty dense, but you can go back and you can find all of these answers in those 15 to 20-minute episodes. So, next up, let's talk about episode 26, censorship in the arts and human rights. The first question: what historical event in America triggered this episode? Well, we all know that Trump basically appointed himself as chairman and announced 14 new board members, including White House Chief of Staff, a country singer who permitted Trump to use the song on the campaign trail, and a top GOP donor, among others. Art and culture are considered a human right because they are fundamental to a person's identity, the self-expression and ability to participate fully in society. The right to access and engage with cultural international documents like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has the right to freely participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and to share in scientific advancement. So we hold these truths about art to be self-evident. Art is a form of freedom, of expression, and allows individuals to share their ideals, perspectives, and experiences. Cultural identity allows access to and participation in one's own culture and is essential for maintaining a sense of identity and belonging. For example, have you visited the National Museum of African American History and Culture in DC? It has all of our history, from slavery to Beyonce. And it's not just for Black people. Our history, Black history, is American history. Perhaps it presents a different perspective, but we have shared and do share the same space and time. Art and culture can form social cohesion by fostering understanding, dialogue, and connection between people from different backgrounds. It promotes social harmony, like sports. Well, until you take a knee in peaceful protests. I'm just saying. In the last episode, I identified a podcast miniseries called Breaking the Silence: Censorship and Self-Censorship, which listed 3 European countries that have a history of dictators who censored the arts. Question number 2. Name the European countries that have experienced censorship under the dictators. Well, the countries include Romania, Spain, and Portugal. For editorial purpose, let me go ahead and clarify the dates of these dictatorships because they got clipped out during the podcast. Romania, 1947 to 1965. Spain, 1939 to 1975. And Portugal, with the longest, 46 years, from 1926 to 1974. The type of censorship included prohibiting artists from publicly rejecting the communist regime or face public shaming, jailing writers and artists and singers, to prohibiting materials that were too liberal. Question number 3. Give me an example of art being censored in the United States. Well, in the last episode, I gave a whole laundry list of examples, but the one that I'll select is the 2002 Eric Fischl's exhibit of the Tumbling Woman in Rockefeller Center. I was curious, so I did a little bit more research on this and found that the sculpture was that of a woman falling from the towers during 9/11. The artist felt that the initial discussions focused more on the buildings being destroyed rather than the loss of human life. I guess vision was too soon for most because the sculpture was removed from public view in 2002. As my sister would say, deep. Question number 4. Name one group whose performance was canceled at the Kennedy Center since the Trump administration took over. The answer? The Gay Men's Chorus from Washington, D.C. In a statement, Deborah Rutter, former president of the Kennedy Center, said, much like our democracy itself, artistic expression must be nurtured and is not a passive endeavor. Indeed, there is no clearer sign of American democracy at work than our artists, the work they produce, and the audience's unalienable right to actively participate. And lastly, question number 5. What is the name of the organization in America against censorship? The answer? National Coalition Against Censorship, NCAC, which can be found at ncac.org. The vision statement is that they envision an American society that understands, values, defends, and vigorously exercises free expression, and a just, egalitarian, diverse, and inclusive democracy. Their mission statement is as follows. Every generation of Americans face new and significant challenges to free expression. For almost 50 years, the NCAC has acted as a first responder to protect this freedom, which is both a fundamental human right and is a keystone of our democracy in the ever-changing American nation. They promote freedom of thought and inquiry and oppose censorship. When controversy occurs, they encourage and facilitate dialogue between divergent voices and perspectives, including those that have historically been silenced. So, how did you do? Did you get 100? It's okay. The information is dense, even if it's delivered in less than 20 minutes increments. And you can always access the past episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether it be on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever. My goal, is hopefully that you remember this information, that you learn it. You, listener, are the best advocate for more human rights in America. What better time than this to have a revolutionary mindset that stirs the wind of change in our favor, the citizens of the United States? And the final bonus question before I let you go. What year was the Universal Declaration of Human Rights drafted and presented, and by whom? The answer, 1948. After the Second World War, Eleanor Roosevelt was the chairperson of the committee. Was she a DEI selection? Will a reinvented merit system mimic and repeat the same systemic discrimination of the past? We tried this, and it laid bare all of our race biases, bias ideals, and discrimination. Think about that until next time. So I'm going to leave you with the AI-generated poem that I call The Rhythm and Soul of Art. Canvas woven with stories untold, a dance of rhythm, song of old. Art, a mirror to a people's soul, reflecting values, making spirits whole. In vibrant hues the past is seen, the triumph struggles in between. A tapestry of time unfurls, as each brushstroke culture swirls. From ancient carvings on a stone wall to melodies that rise and fall, art speaks a language clear and bright, a beacon guiding light through the darkest night. It binds the community strong and true, a shared expression and common view. In every masterpiece, a spirit lives, a legacy that forever gives. So, let the colors dance and swirl. Let the music rise and unfurl. For art is more than just a sight. The heartbeat of a culture, shining right. Art and culture, a human right. Until next time, be revolutionary, be human.